Send.
Hello everyone!
Hello! Welcome back! My fake happy!
Do more!
Why you doing this to me?
Forcing her happy out. Okay, anyways, so today we want to do a video on pajamas. Okay, so we're gonna talk about an I versus TI and SI versus FI.
Yeah, we're kind of stuck in this perceiving judging function now.
Yeah, so we've been noticing that we've been trying to type people, and then we noticed that we often mistype an I as TI and then SI as FI sometimes, but mostly just we mistype an I as TI. So maybe we should start with that.
It's actually like a pair. So if you pair an introverted perceiving function with an extroverted judging function, like INTJ, INFJ, ISFJ, ISTJ, then the pairing makes the first perceiving function because they are able to speak what they perceive. So it kind of make them able to articulate their own like perceived facts or like judgment or like something, and that makes it looks like their introverted judging function. So like for example, we mistype
an INFJ
we first thought he is an ISFP, and then we thought, oh, he might be an INTP because we figured that he has FE, and then finally we figured out.
Yeah, we noticed that he was an INFJ.
Yeah, this is like after a long journey.
Yeah, there's like a journey, and through this journey we kind of noticed that we're very blind to it.
Yeah. So at first we typed him as ISFP because we thought he's really performer like.
Yeah, and then he had like when he talks, he's like very definite.
Yeah, very definite
about what he talks about, and I thought he was like speaking of his values and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I thought he was being angry at something that's against his value.
Yeah.
And then that's why at first we thought he was an ISFP.
And I thought he has the FI learning curve that he just like jump like you're doing this to me, and then like I think he might recall his past experience or something.
Yeah.
And then I watched his interaction with an ESFJ. Their way of talking is nothing near an FIFE talks. Like they're like pretty analytical, and then talks about like trying to analyze and then tear things apart. So and then we thought, oh, he might be a TI dominant user.
Yeah, and also whenever the ESFJ was trying to FE, he would like immediately reject that FE and be like, oh, that's not logical or something.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, no, just don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah, he's like, it can't be that way.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. And then finally we figured that this might be his NI because we finally saw that he's not a real TI user. His FE is above TI, and then but that doesn't explain why is he so like logical, and then like at least at first appearance, like why is he so like introverted judging?
Yeah, because like introverted intuition is also like a internal system.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to TI.
Yeah.
And then he was drawing conclusions based on his internal system.
Yeah.
So we thought it was like he had very strong NI. That's why we thought he was like it was very similar to TI.
Yeah, and then cause there's another INTJ player in the game, and then
so obsessed with the game.
And then at first we were like, what is he? Why is he so good at this game? And then I finally figured out he has a really strong NI about what character, about what each one of them should say, like what are they trying to do, and he's very clear about the roles in the game, and that's why he's so good at predicting the
people's roles.
That's why. And I think after I figured that out, then I figured, oh, then this guy's like the previous guys is not actually a TI user but an NI user.
Yeah, their ways of doing things are very similar, but the INTJ tends to back up his NI with strong logic.
Yeah.
Whereas the INFJ tends to he was using his FE.
Yeah, he was trying to convince others.
Yeah, he was trying to convince others.
And he's trying to put up a performance, like he knows like what this situation is going to, so he kind of like put up a show or something.
Yeah, he was like forcing that through his FE. He was like talking to each individual player.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, you're like this, listen to me or something. Whereas the INTJ just like, he kind of attacks on others actually.
Yeah.
His T is kind of aggressive in terms that when he sees something, when he sees something, he tends to force it to happen, and then he attacks other players for not like be on the same page as him.
Yeah. And also like I first typed in as INTP, and then I figured he's way too young to use FE that well. Like at least that's why I kind of start questioning myself. And it's like maybe his FE is actually above TI. Yeah. So today what we want to do is to like maybe when you're typing the introverted perceiving function pairing with an extroverted judging function needs to be very carefully analyzed, because sometimes people are very smart or like they're very good at what they're doing, and then when they speak about their I mean like not his or her internal logic or something, it's like a different realm. Yeah.
So yeah, they could be specialists at what they're doing, and then it could seem like they have an internal judging system.
Yeah.
But it could very much be that he or she is just very good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then he was drawing conclusions that you might not see immediately, but it could be that it's not part of their internal judging system. It could be that they've gathered enough information, they've read enough about it, they've done enough that they see like the pattern, they have this structure.
Yeah, that's why I think he has like TIFE so close together, but it is impossible for an introverted person to combine them. Like it looks like he's like they're like stacked together. But actually like according to the MBTI theory, it's like this far apart. Yeah. But they look like this close.
Yeah, so that's when we start questioning about someone's typing.
Yeah.
Because I think that even though someone could be using their inferior function very well, it can be that that inferior function is topping their dominant function.
Yeah, and then and I think it's different. Like the way NTP use an FE, it's like they're just able to articulate their thoughts, but they're actually very logical, I would say. And then and because it's really hard for an I user to like in our age, I mean like 20s or 30s, to use FE so well, that I mean like for an extroverted, it's just really hard to jump like to use your 1 and 4 together.
Yeah. Basically, so I think like at our age, our judging functions tend to fight each other. So for example, for me, if I'm using my FI, then I'm probably not gonna use my TE at all. And then if I'm in my TE mode, I still follow my FI, I feel like. So I don't ever think there's a case where my TE tops my FI. Yeah. Oh,
and then we have the theory that if your first function is judging, then you will have two perceiving function as your second and third. Then you'll have a wider scope. I think in general, like if you have a perceiving function as your second function, then you'll have like a set subject, and then you kind of explore around that. While if you have an exploring function, perceiving function over your judging function, then you'll you'll find a subject and then explore deduction, like explore what it could be. Like if you have an I, like I'm going to this way, then your T is to like help you, like maybe try this, maybe try that, maybe try everything. You shake the camera.
I'm gonna shake it again. I'm gonna put my feet away.
She has no FE, just like come on, like a T user doesn't have FE. Like it's impossible.
Anyways.
Also, I was like, I don't understand how can people mistype FE and T. It's like they just
So
don't
obvious.
have it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so obvious.
Anyway. Oh yeah, and I also wanted to talk about SI and FI. And so I had this ISTJ friend. You know how I first thought she was an ISFP? Did I talk about this last time?
No.
No? Are you
To
sure?
me? Or in a video?
Or in the
No.
video?
No.
Okay, anyways. Yeah, because like she has really strong preference over what she likes and what she doesn't like. And then but she tends to follow, like she only does what she likes. And then I thought that was very FI, because I do the same thing sometimes. And then you know how you said that SI also follows, like they're so used to doing what they like that they continue to do it. It's very different from FI, where I like something, I continue to do it.
Yeah.
Don't know if that makes sense. Maybe you can explain that better.
I think for SI users, they just stay in their comfort zone. And that's the difference between FI and SI. Like sometimes you see a person like keep going back to some same genre of film, like same type of music. You will type them as a IFP, right? They're doing things they like, but actually they are, maybe they have FI at first, like they actually enjoyed it, but it's more like a demonstration of their strong SI towards the thing that they're used to, and then they just don't want to NE and change it.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So in that sense, SI could look very much like FI, and then same as the other way around. FI could look a lot like SI.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I keep doing what I like, then it might appear very like SI.
Yeah. But
I'm still a bit confused on how to like type these two.
Because I think the difference is between ISTJ and INFP. I think it's specific because you guys actually have the same functions.
Yeah.
And then it's just the process of ordering. So because they also have FISI, so that is kind of confusing. Like you might mistype an ISTJ as an INFP, but you wouldn't type it as ISFP, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but true. Yeah, now we're like I don't know, like I don't have like a really good example of like the difference between these two, but in general I tend to notice the similarities. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say like the FI for an TJ is very, very different.
True.
It's like it's very immature, and then it's not expressed because they keep on talking about the same thing, so you assume, like as an outsider, you assume they like it, but it's not, like they're not actually sincerely like it. And then I think that's why I said like SI is such a strong, like even a judging function for me, because I feel like you just keep doing the same thing, and this is your criteria, like I want to do the same thing. I was like, but you're not using your T, like you're not.
They don't even want to change.
Yeah, they don't want to change. Like what is wrong with you?
Nothing.
I'm like, if you have T, then you see this thing is better, then you will switch.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like for ISTJs, their SIs tend to dominate their TE. And then
They are.
yeah, what you said about comfort zone, like very dominant their
Yeah.
TE. Like even though like yeah, sometimes they would just use their SI alone. And then in that sense, I see why you think it's like a judging function because
Yeah.
it's kind of like suppressing their TE.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I said like if you have a judging function as a first, then you have a wider scope.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a presuming function at the top, then you are limited. Like you, it just exploring how do you express it. Like you're exploring how to express it, but you're not.
Rather
You're-
than seeing more stuff, seeing like opening your eyes and see more stuff.
Yeah, like we have our like a ourselves here, and then we are like expanding like this much, and then maybe we narrow down, but we're using the same judging function, but they see the same thing, but they conclude different results from that.
And then yeah, sometimes they fight themselves so much because their judging functions tend to fight each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's why I said you said like for STJs, well, like for all TJs, when they're using their FI, it's like very disastrous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see like ESTJs, they just explode. I feel like they don't know how to control their temper when they have that angry feeling inside. Like when they accumulate enough emotions inside, they just have to explode.
Yeah.
They don't know how to digest their emotions. And then we just talk about how like a lot of ESTJs like seek help from FJs because they don't know how to they don't know what's happening to themselves. They have inferior FI, but their FI is so strong that they don't know how to control it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a charm between like what was it like SFP and NTJ is because like when the NTJ develop enough to want to accept their FI, instead of listen to their NI, just listen to what I want, what I like. At that point, then he might adore the constant expression of like
FI.
self-expression of FP.
FP, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I want to say another thing. The socionic describe the first function as a leading function, second function as a role function.
Creative function?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
as a creative function,
Mm-hmm.
and then that kind of gives me a new understanding to difference between ENFP and INFP because I have plenty experience with them.
She's basically surrounded by NFPs.
Everybody, she said I look like an NFJ.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say that yeah, at first she appears to be an INFJ to a lot of NFPs.
Yeah.
And then I think
still like till this day like a lot of ENFP thinks I can be an FJ. I was like, what?
yeah, and then a lot of the ENFPs are super aggressive towards her. They want her to FE, but you know, like FE is her inferior function, so she struggles so much.
And then I feel like it's very because my experience with ENFP and INTP is so different. Like I have several INFP best friends. Like male, like male and female, and then I think they're the most stable person I've ever met. Like they're like I think FI is such a stable function. Like my TI so I think it's really comfortable. At least like when I know what you like, then like we're never going to fight, right?
Yeah.
But like for an ENFP, like their drama, like I don't understand their drama, like at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to cover their FI. Also,
yeah, it's because like after we read socionics, we noticed that ENFPs use their FI as a creative function, so they tend to create dramas for people.
yeah. And then they read. I don't know what they read from me, but like they definitely read it wrong. They read it and then dramatize it. I was like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, she gets so confused.
Yeah. And then but for us, like we share what we talk about constantly is our NE. Like we are able we always discuss like outside things, but we rarely touch on the hardcore value between us.
So we have that agreement that we don't talk about like
or like if you want to talk about them, be really like use your T and then I use my FE. It's like
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so what we discussed is our attitude, like we both can interpret the world differently. Like that's what we do, like interpret the environment together.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe that would work, maybe that would work, maybe this is cute, that one is cute too. But for ENFP, I think they are really the drama people. I don't know, or I don't understand, like
At least,
if
yeah.
maybe their FI would change. That's why they're so.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I've talked about how like developing a stable FI it's like a very long journey even for me, and then I feel like ENFPs at our age are just starting to develop their FI, so they're trying to like explore the possibility of using their FI.
Yeah, same with our NE.
Same with our NE, but like.
So I feel like ES or EFP in general, they want you to behave the way they want it. Like they have this, you are my girlfriend, so I want to make you happy, and then you kind of have to accept it.
Yeah.
He wants the response. He wants this kind of FI communication, like back and forth.
Yeah, they want. That's why they. Yeah, I feel like ENFPs communicate through their FI.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, we communicate through our NE.
Yeah, like I feel like but he's actually like a very charming and very cute person. Like he buys things, and then he like presents, and then like surprises and romantic, but it's kind of like but he always want the feedback. Like he always want the FE feedback. Like you have to give them that. Like that's what he's looking for in a relationship. Well, like yeah, it's like what is happening with you? It's like all your drama.
Yeah, and then I think, because and then they tend to seek IFJs. Because like we also saw that like the order of your function also determines how you use it. For example, for IFJs, their FE is their secondary function.
Yeah, exactly. They match.
Yeah, on them like IFJs tend to accept people's feelings, so it's kind of like a passive function.
Yeah.
And then ENFP or ESFPs, their FI is their attacking function. They use it to attack people, not attack people. Like, they use it on other people, and then whereas the IFJs accept it from other people.
Yeah.
And then that's why they match so well. And then for us IFPs and EFJs, it's the other way around. EFJs turn to like ask you, what you're feeling, and then they tend to stir up emotions in you. They tell you stories and they want a response from you. And then IFPs are we just like to express our feelings once. I think it's we generally don't want to express our feelings to everyone, but if someone tries to talk to us about our feelings, we will talk about it. And then so EFJs are the people that like
maybe you guys communicate through NE and NI. Like you guys are not doing the FE thing, right? If you're trying to like be angry, and then and then she's using her NI to like comfort you. It's like, no, it's going this way. Don't worry.
I feel like it's both together, but our FIs it's definitely more passive. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like ISFJ or IFJ in general, they have lots of internal drama.
Yeah, I don't understand IFJs.
I don't understand it either. I feel like, cause I have a really good ESFJ friend, and then her FE is like you don't notice it. Like she's just this charming, lovely person, and then you don't think her as, and then she's like super reasonable. Yeah, they're not even very emotional, I would say.
Yeah, it's because they seek emotions from other people.
Yeah,
they themselves are not that emotional. I feel like all the EFJs are pretty emotional, stable people. So IFJs, on the other hand, they use their FE to do things, and then they tend to be more aggressive when they're using their FE.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why like ESFJ loves buying things. because they want to like change their SI, I guess, like playing with their SI. Like, I want to touch this, I want to touch that. Like, try all different kinds of makeup.
Okay, they want to figure out what's stable for them. Yeah.
And maybe ENFJ loves reading stories then.
Yeah, ENFJs, they... yeah. No, they love to... Yeah, basically they love to, like, have more insights on things.
Yeah, that's what they're experimenting with.
Yeah. And then, so NI is a creative function for ENFJs, and SI is a creative function for ESFJs.
Yeah.
And so, that's the difference between IFJ and EFJ.
Yeah, and then
we know this. And then
now I understand that because I have this huge good friend ENTP, and then I was kind of fascinated by her. I was like, who are you?
Yeah, she was basically obsessed with her.
You're ENTP? What?
Yeah.
But now I think about it, I think the difference between us is like I was trying to use NE to feed my FI, like TI, that I always this idea of what is right. Like, I'm very sure of that, but she's like the complete opposite thing. Like, she's like another type of empty. I describe her as empty. I was like, what, why, who are you? Because she just change every once in a second. Now I figured that she's playing with all this theoretical, like all these theories, and then she moved from subject to subjects, and then she's exploring the possible logic things.
And she loves like those creative games where she loves like she experiments in her games. Yeah, and she's trying to see, I want to know where this is going, so I'm gonna try this new thing. Kind of like that.
Yeah, well, for us TI, then we're trying to like play with this to understand why it works. I think like I want to understand like how this one is folded, like how to disassemble it, how to assemble it. But for ENTP, I think they're experimenting with TI, like how
plotting something.
Yeah, maybe I can fold this to another thing, like maybe a rectangular one and a square one and a round one, like a ball shape.
Or they'll put this outside to see what happens to it.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that, and that's the difference between your creative function
and your dominant function.
Yeah, I think that's why like in a public setting, like in when you are using your external function, maybe that's actually your second function that is more visible to others, because your TI is implicit, like it's ingraded, like my logic is here,
part of your brain.
Yeah, part of your brain, the way you organize it. Oh, and then we can explain the difference between NE and I. Did we talk too much?
No. We're gonna continue talking.
I finally understand it. Like, I think NE and NI is like, if you see NI, you see the internal relationship between objects. Well, that's why they're calling it symbolism. I can see why it's more picture-like, because you kind of like group them together. It's like, I don't know, you have this like unexplainable grouping method that you think they two are similar, but we don't know why. But for NE, it's like, that's why I think it's more possibility, because it's between object and object, the implicit connection between object and object. But that one is between, I don't know, internal relationship.
Yeah, NI is for NI users, they have the like structures in their heads, and then they've talked about that. So they think every time something is stirred up, they will try to fit this new thing to their existing data bank of structures, models, and stuff, and then they would try to fit that together. And
machine learning.
and then that's why like, and then I noticed like a lot of them are very visual people, and then
like the pattern is not something that like words, like pattern is visual, like itself is visual.
Yeah,
like rectangle.
Yeah, pattern is a
topology.
system. It's like it's a structure, but for NE it's more I don't know. We're more like we're a lot more random. Like our NE is not like a whole. It's not a system or structure. It's like piece by piece connection.
For NE, I think we're like it's like TE. Like TE, I don't understand how TE works, but it's also like piecewise and then like kind of like random. Like you can just learn this part without learning the whole stuff. I think that's our NE.
Going back to our learning styles.
Yeah, yeah. But for that, I think like that's why like TI is more. NI and TI has the congruent, continuous, the kind of continuous property about them.
Yeah.
And I earlier on when I was trying to type people, I kind of really confused NI with TI because I feel like it's linear and then the pattern is right, and then why can't it be TI?
Yeah.
Well, but except for like NI, you don't know how to explain the internal relationship. But I guess you could if you have learned enough and use TE to express it.
Yeah, I guess you really have, like, when typing people, you really have to put them outside their context.
Yeah.
Or else, like, it's very likely that we mistype people.
Yeah. And then for the INTJ, the player, back to his NI.
Back to the game.
Back to the NI. I feel like when we type him as an INTJ, because he's pretty obvious. He's pretty TJ and then pretty I and then pretty N. But it's not based on his functions. I don't understand why is he so good at this game. Like I thought it might be his T, but now when I understand the game more, I feel like he is not good at explaining his NI. He's really like attacking people. He's using his T to attack other players. He's like, you are doing this. Why are you doing this? You are not doing the good thing. You are like. That's why you're a bad guy. Like
yeah, and nobody believes him.
Yeah, like nobody trusts him because he doesn't explain his reasoning.
Yeah, and he just goes down to attack people, and then the other people will feel so offended. They're like, I don't trust you.
Yeah, like he never succeeded in persuading people. But he's really good at like he has this holistic view. Like I guess why NI is like chess then. Because he has this whole holistic view of like if A is doing this, B is doing this, C is doing this, then their possible relationship can only be this instead of that one. He has a really I don't know, he may be doing something in his own mind, but he is unable to express it
through his. Yeah, I guess why the INFJ player gets a lot more trust.
Yeah.
And then all the players, even though he's a bad guy, all the players in the game are like, oh, I trust you. And at the end, when he says, oh, I'm a bad guy, everyone's like, oh my god, you lied to me, I can't believe that.
Yeah, and then you can see that INFJ is more, is attacking other people by their FE too.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, you have to do this. Follow me, otherwise I think you are that, blah. Or like if if you don't want to get voted out by others, then you better follow me. It's like
yeah, but everyone buys him.
Yeah, but everyone buys him.
Yeah.
But anyway, but for that ESFJ player, he's like the opposite. He's trying to like persuade others by he's not very attacking. He's like, let's do this. Let's go win together. Come on, you can do this, and then you can do this, and then we can win together. Voila!
Yeah, like FE is a very FE dominant people are not that aggressive in terms of their FE.
Yeah,
and then
it's pretty natural. Like it's like ingrained in them.
Yeah, they tend to comfort other people. They tend to talk to everyone in a game.
Yeah, they're like, I don't think they're aggressive. I don't see him as ever being aggressive.
Yeah, that's good. But I think for STJs, it's the other way around. I find ESTJs to be super aggressive, but ISTJs are okay.
But
do you find that too, or is it just me?
No, I don't think that's true. Cause the ESTJ girl in the game, she might sound very aggressive to you because you're inferior T, but I find what she said is pretty reasonable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think well, but in general, because T is really and pretty aggressive function
to me, and then
to everyone, I guess.
I talk about like how ESTJs and ENTJs, their T is more like they force it on other people.
Yeah.
But ISTJs and INTJs, their T is more to themselves. An American T, because you know how T is a very useful function here. So I think for ETJs, they know like the advantage of having their T, so they tend to develop their other functions very slowly.
No, I think okay. So as a TI user, I know how like suppose like you are using your FI all the time, right? Because I'm using my TI all the time. Like I'm thinking all the time, it's like flowing an area, like. So I think that's why I understand. That's why I don't think ETJ as very, like he's not. They're not trying to force it on others, but they can't help themselves. T.
Yeah.
So but if you're with them, then I think they're. I think that's why what you said is right. Like they're pretty slowly and they just didn't reach the step that they understand FI.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't understand. Yeah, they don't understand anything. No, sorry, no. But I feel like
they don't want to listen to.
They don't. Yeah, they
slow
don't.
down.
Yeah, and then it's also because T is an extroverted judging function, so they tend to see things as a whole. Whereas I'm very individualistic, and then so when they're trying to force me to do something with them, I would feel like you're not respecting me personally.
Yeah.
And then that's what makes me feel bad. And then like for T dominant people, they work nonstop. They're able to do that. But for me, I have to like take breaks every like 4 hours or so. But then to them, they're like, oh, why are you so lazy? Why are you slowing down? And then that's very aggressive to me, I feel like.
But I feel like that is also the problem with American being so TE. Like they're praised for what they do all day.
All day, yeah.
Yeah, like well, I think at least in China, like they respect FE more. Like if you're an ETJ, then you kind of have to slow down.
Oh, you have to respect others.
Like you have to, you kind of have to pay attention to the whole group instead of saying my T is right. Well, I think it's more like a general like out of our scope thing.
Yeah, it's just something I noticed. I don't know. I was just so angry about it. Anyways,
but I get that though. I get that.
I'm not personally attacking anyone. I'm just like saying that.
Yeah, because I know I have a ESTJ friend. He's like, do this at this time, do that at that time. So it's like,
yeah,
like, and then no rush. I know. Like, you'll get it done. Chill.
Yeah, and when they go out, they make it seem like work.
Yeah.
Like a job. You have to like get things done. You know how like I don't know.
But I understand because like if you're FI, like they wanna do it so bad. Like they kind of like
force their T.
Yeah, they force their T to do that. I see that in him, so I was like, okay, fine, but chill. Yeah. So yeah, I see why you're so frustrated, especially she's your mom, so you kind of have to listen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I have to accept my mom's drama. So like, I give a few years. Like, what? Stop.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.